Questions and comments. Question et commentaire. The honourable member for Nepean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a very simple question for my honourable member. RCMP has written to Law Clerk of the House of Commons in July, stating that any records they receive through this process, they will not be able to use it because it affects the charter rights of the suspect. My understanding is...
Okay, 18 minutes. Je pense qu'il y a un problème.
Sorry, I think there's a problem with interpretation. There's no interpretation currently, Mr. Speaker.
Speak English and hope that the translation service gets it. Okay, perfect. The honourable member for Nepean can start again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a very simple question to ask the honourable member. RCMP has written to the Law Clerk of the House of Commons in July, stating that any records they obtain through this process, they can't use it because it affects the charter right of the suspect. The end goal is anybody who has done a criminally wrong thing should be prosecuted. But the process that we are debating here, the process that the member is asking here, is not going to achieve that. So my question to the member is, does he think that RCMP has no other legal process to obtain this document or documents legally so that they can use it to the fullest extent in prosecuting anybody who has done anything wrong?
The honourable member for Chilliwack Hope.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I find it troubling that that member would imply that a lawful House order was somehow illegal, that somehow that sending documents to the RCMP to do with what they will is somehow illegal. Mr. Speaker, we've seen this before. The government, we've seen the director of the CBSA, for instance, after the Arrive scandal, sent documents directly to the RCMP. The government has not chosen to do that in this case. We believe that a lawful House order is lawful. The RCMP will do what they want with that information, but that they should receive the information from the House of Commons unredacted, as is our right to request, which is what we have done, which is what the government should listen to.
Questions and comments.
The honourable member for Beauport-Limoilou. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The role of the opposition in a government, especially a minority government, but all governments really, is not just to oppose for the sake of opposition. That would not be constructive. Rather, the opposition's role is, above all things, to ensure the public has a better view of current realities, allowing the public to be better represented here in the House. Having said that, trust is at the base of parliamentary power. Refusing to submit documents indicates that there is something to hide. This undermines public trust. As such, by refusing to submit documents, the government is shooting itself in the foot, especially given this minority government context. Here's my question. Does the problem come from the appointment process, or giving funds to an organization with no strings attached, or a bit of both? The honourable member for Chilliwack Hope.
Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to thank my colleague for the question. I agree with her that the longer the government fights this matter by refusing to hand over the documents, the more it does look like they have something to hide. And clearly there was something wrong with the appointment process when it came to the board of the SDTC. We saw that the former minister, Navdeep Bains, was made aware that this would be a massive problem if he appointed Liberal-connected insiders who had been receiving money from this fund, that there would be inevitable conflicts of interest. He was told that repeatedly. The Prime Minister's office was told that repeatedly. The PCO was told that repeatedly, and all of it was ignored. And now we have a situation where $400 million has been awarded to companies that have a connection to Liberal insiders. We've seen, I believe the number I heard quoted from the member from South Shore St. Margaret's was 82% of the contracts had been impacted in one way or another and were under a cloud of suspicion. That's the record of this government, a program that operated just fine under the previous Conservative government was turned into a Liberal slush fund by this Liberal government, and they did it on purpose.